Hey, what's up everybody? It's Mr. Pratt here again, and today we're going to be learning about a game called Moose. Moose is a game that I learned as a teenager, and it's one that's kind of stuck with me over the years. I learned it the super simple way, which you're going to see in the video coming up here, just using an ice cube tray and a coin. But I've learned how to modify this game, and in my head that's what makes it so great. Most of the games I feature on my YouTube channel are very modifiable to fit different ages, different contexts, and different skill sets. So I think that's super important, and that's really what makes a great game. Now in this video, you should know I'm just going to give you some basic ideas for Moose. Okay, and I'm playing with my own children, so it might not exactly look like what the real game would look like, but it's going to give you an idea of how to play it. This game, like I said, is highly modifiable, okay? So you could be using an ice cube tray, a coin, you could be using hula hoops and frisbees as your targets, you could be using balls and baskets, you could be using blocks and bins, you could be using cue cards and file folders. Really, the options are endless, and you can target any skill set or lesson content that you would like and add in an active element to make this game work for you. Now, where you place your target line, how many targets you use, how big your targets are, how many points each target is worth is all up to you. To start basic, I would just say the first target is worth 1, second target is worth 2, third target is worth 3, etc. Okay, use the equipment that you have and make it work for you. So the basics of Moose, before we get into some specific examples, is you're going to set up 2 rows of targets. You can play this game as an individual. Typically it's played with partners or in teams. You have a throwing line that you must stand behind, and you are aiming at 1 row of targets. So let's say I was playing against a partner. I might be aiming at the left row of targets. They might be aiming at the right row of targets. If I am able to get my object, whatever I'm using, my coin, my ball, whatever, into one of my targets on the left, I'm able to earn points, or if you're playing it fitness style, award exercises to my partner. That being said, if I accidentally sink my object in my own row of targets, I would have to do the exercises, or my partner would earn the points depending on how you're playing the game. My partner would obviously be doing the opposite, or my opponent would be doing the opposite. They would be aiming for the targets on the right. If they sink on the right, they're going to give me exercises, or they're going to earn points. If they sink on their own side, they're going to be doing exercises, or I will be earning points depending on, again, how you're playing the game. Alright, so as you can see here, I got my friends Batman and SpiderMan to help me out, and we're doing this simple version of Moose with an ice cube tray and a coin. So SpiderMan's going to go first. He's aiming for the right-hand side of the tray. If Spider-Man were to miss, his turn would end. It would be Batman's turn. Batman is aiming for the left side of the tray. He sunk it in the second part of the ice tray, meaning he would be able to award 2 exercises to Spider-Man. Spider-Man does his 2 jumps, and then Spider-Man would continue with his turn. Spider-Man aiming for the right hits the 4th part of the ice cube tray. He would then get to award an exercise of 4 to Batman. So he's going to have Batman do a 4-second plank. Now again, if you sunk the coin in your own side, you would be the one having to do the exercise, or if you were playing for points, you would just be earning points instead of doing the exercises. Now in this last example, Batman's going to shoot, and we're going to pretend he gets what's called a moose. The coin lands on his side in the last row. He's going to yell moose, and him and Spider-Man have to run as fast as they can around the tray or around the playing surface. And the first one back is going to earn bonus points based on how you've assigned the points to be awarded. The round would end, and you would start playing a new round. Spider-Man is sad. Now here I'm explaining to my son who's 3 and my daughter who's 1.5 how to play the game. In this case, we're throwing from a designated line using overhand throws, trying to aim for the buckets in front of us. I have my son aiming for the right-hand side, my daughter aiming for the left-hand side. Now, of course, they're pretty young, so it might not look perfect. You can see they're getting lots of throwing practice and lots of exercise running back and forth to retrieve their ball. Now my son's about to sink one here. He hits the second bin. Unfortunately, it was on his own side. So I'm just going to explain to him here that he's going to have to do 2 jumps, just like Spider-Man did. And he's going to do those as he sunk in his own side. Then telling my daughter it's her turn, but she thinks that means to jump. So she's going to jump as well before giving the ball a throw. And the game would continue in this pattern, awarding exercises or earning points based on hitting your target or your opponent hitting your target. With my kids here, they're just going to be doing a lot of throwing and retrieving the balls. It's okay with younger kids to just do it this way. It doesn't have to be a structured form of play. There doesn't have to be competition or points or fitness added in. It's still a great way for them to work on those manipulative skills of the overhand throw. And as we talked about earlier in the video, modifying this to use, frisbees and hula hoops or soccer balls and pylons and all those kinds of different objects and targets are great ways to keep the game fresh and exciting and keeping students engaged. And in this final example, you're going to see a bit more of a cross-curricular modification. So I have a pile of blocks there with different animals on it, and I've labeled the bins different habitats. So for example, the blue bin is the ocean, the green bin is the forest. I'm having my children grab blocks out of a pile, identify the animal on it, and organize them into the habitat that they live in. So you can see they're actually sorting through the blocks. Sometimes they're throwing the blocks. Sometimes they're walking over and placing them in the bin. And if they make a mistake, they can just talk to each other and correct that mistake. So it's a great way to add in some learning content and get some movement in your classroom to make activities more engaging and entertaining. So that about does it for Moose. I hope you've enjoyed watching this video, learning about a great game that can be modified to work in the classroom, in the gym, or if you're just stuck in your house. So please remember to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. You can also follow me on Instagram and Twitter at PE Pratt. Thanks for watching. This is Mr. Pratt signing off from Moose.